Dunblazier. I'm the membership chair of the Coalition of Visionary Resources. We are the trade organization for the mind, body, spirit industry. And today we have an amazing guest that we are so welcome to have today. I'm so grateful that he's here. It's Dr. Robert V. Gerard. He's the founder of the Oughten Foundation. He has worked in publishing for several decades and worked in this industry, and his primary focuses are in holistic psychology, the DNA activation healing, self-healing program, and world peace. Dr. Gerard sustains a private counseling practice in holistic and organizational psychology, and he often lectures and seminars and does workshops on DNA self-healing. Dr. Gerard, thank you so much for being with us here today.
You're very welcome, and hello, everybody. I'm here to serve. So whatever it is, I don't need any points. I graduated from the point school. I just want to serve and get my brothers and sisters worldwide to open their hearts and open their brains a little bit and start fighting for the truth. This is a very important time in our world, and it's not a time to relax. You got to relax to be healthy and peaceful, but you got to fight for your freedom too. And I'm very firm about that. You know, I grew up in New York City. I know what it is to get punched, and I know how to punch.
Mm-hmm.
We got to start doing something more than just saying nice, bake some cookies. So
exactly. So tell me what you you have an enormous history in healing and helping people to heal.
Mm-hmm.
And we definitely want to get into that. But because this is such a unique time on the planet with this global pandemic and with all of the different spiritual and emotional and psychological uprisings that people are having, what is the one thing that you feel people can focus on to help get them through this?
Well,
where can we put our focus?
You got to do it spiritually and physically and socially. You can't separate that anymore. The spiritual component that people who are part of this organization or your organization, you're talking about kindred souls who want to expand their consciousness and be beautiful, healthy, and happy. But you also have to ground that in earth. If you are just a spiritual being, you don't need to be here. You're on earth to do something, to make change, to take your gifts of creativity and switch that throttle and tell society this is what we desire. And it's a hard battle because a lot of people are into money, wealth, greed, and comfort. And my first novel was called Lady from Atlantis. Back in the 80s, I wrote that. That was my breakaway into the literary world. And in that book, I was a visionary, and I still do that. I still see the future. I saw the end of the Berlin Wall in 1985. I saw that. I saw the end of the Soviet Union, and I wrote about that. And it's the fact that the feminine consciousness is knocking on the earth plane to wake up. This is a woman's planet. I don't know how to say that in more profound ways, but Earth is a loving place, and it's a feminine consciousness, and it's been suppressed. And I think those days are over. You see it in America. More women in Congress, more women teaching. You got more female professors than any time in history. Around the world, you see young women becoming leaders of their country. Why? Because the male aspect is greedy, it's warlike, it's aggressive, and it doesn't belong on Earth anymore. Those days are over, and the woman have to unite. Women and men like myself who are androgynous, okay, I'm a male, but I'm an androgynous being, and I fight for that right. That you have to support the feminine movement. That being said, what is taking place, I like to shift for a second and go back to this little country called Croatia. 20 years ago, it was part of Yugoslavia under Tito, and it was a socialist country, not so much communism like the Soviet Union, but it was socialist communism. So people were free to do something, not so much religiously, but they were free to do some capitalistic stuff. But now it's a little country that only lives
Right.
on tourism. It's beautiful. And when they heard that the pandemic was starting, they immediately closed the country. They put check locks everywhere.
Wow.
So, and that was just the same time because Italy's right
Wow.
next to us. Italy borders us. Matter of fact, I live in the peninsula called Istria, which was before the end of the Second World War, was part of Italy. So there's a lot of Italians here, okay?
Yes.
And a lot of people here
And
work.
and
work
and just so
yeah,
right. And just so everybody knows, Dr. Gerard is broadcasting from Croatia
yeah,
tonight. It's
yeah,
it's his nighttime. It's our daytime.
yeah.
So
It's 9 o'clock here. When I finish, I'm going to have an ice cream. Go to bed.
there you
Uh,
go. You get ready
yeah,
for bed.
but they closed down the borders, and
Thank you, Debbie, for tuning in. So we have a few live viewers right now, and so if anybody's got any questions,
oh,
feel
please.
free to just log them in. I know that Dr. Gerard would love to answer them.
Okay.
I want to talk about, you were just telling me about an article that you wrote,
Yeah.
and you had some really profound points about that article. Can you give us just a little taste of that? And I am going to post that link on this video feed.
Well, okay. I wrote 2 articles just the last week or so. One was called the USS Titanic. And the metaphor there was the Titanic is America. And the captain of the Titanic is Captain Stump, like a stump.
Mm-hmm.
And because of greed,
Yes.
because of all the money, because of his narcissistic ways in doing it, he kept that ship sailing fast as he could to make some competitive points to be famous. And they hit an iceberg, and the damn thing
Right.
sank, and a lot of lost people. And when you study the history of the RMS Titanic, it was a sad thing. It was totally preventable.
Mhm.
And when you see that similarly, history repeats itself for the purpose of utilizing wisdom, and we basically
Mhm.
don't use our wisdom. We kind of
Yes.
fall off the shelf. I don't know what it is, but that's why you're
What
on Earth.
what do you see? What do you think that we use instead of our wisdom?
Complacency,
What are we using instead of our wisdom?
complacency.
Complacency,
What other people do,
mhm,
let's not rock the boat. Except for a lot of women out
hesitation.
there knocking on the doors. I have to say that, when they have rallies, Mother Mary gave me a vision.
Yes.
And the vision was to stop governments, all types of governments, women and children only, need to surround the government offices as long as it takes for the people inside to surrender, because the military won't kill the women and children.
Right.
Okay. But if you put men in
Right.
there, they'll change the scenario. So it's the feminine consciousness that's got to suppress or suffocate the aggressive male government, or whoever's being obstinate
Right.
about helping people. So that article called the
Right.
USS Titanic basically was a
Uh-huh.
really good piece of satire about the Titanic and the American Titanic, and what got the ship sunk and what
Mhm.
happened in America. Now, I'm very pro
Right.
American prosperity, but I'm also pro the fact that
Mhm.
America was a saving grace for civilizations, because it had "we are the people" is its premise, and we're letting that go.
Right.
And if that goes, forget it. I'm saying this right now because
Mhm.
if America does not make it, it's going to be a major problem. So America is really on the
Right.
on the edge, and if Americans don't get it, and my wife she's American citizen, she's there all the time, and she just said, "I'm glad I'm not in America right now," and it's a shame. It's a shame
Yeah.
to say that, because if America doesn't pull through on this thing, the world will go down. The world will go down with it, and you're gonna have a lot of icebergs.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to send a bad picture. My job is to shake people up.
no, America collapsing the entire globe. That's not a bad picture. That's fine.
Well,
That's positive, right?
uh,
Let's start before it comes back together.
it's you know we've had bless his heart, Bush brought us into a war. Millions of people died, and then Obama came in, and everybody was ho ho ho, and then he left, and then Mr. Stump came in, and ho ho ho, everything fell down. America's going up and down, and that's not healthy. That is not healthy. That's manic depressive government.
Well, and I want to well, so this, and I'll tell you my philosophy, and then you can give us some commentary on it, and then we're gonna wrap up. I want to do two things. I want to make this comment. I want to hear your feedback, and then I want you to tell us a little more about your foundation, and then we'll tie a bow on it. But I think that in the world today, our governments are a reflection of our lowest common denominator as a society. Like we cannot bring politicians or leaders into our world that are way far beyond our lowest common denominator of humanity.
Mhm.
There's got to be somebody that can connect. So what do we need to do? What can every individual do to raise up everyone?
Well, it starts with the individual. And the first thing is to create a high level attitude and a lot of imagination. And remember, I'm not talking Walt Disney imagination. Use your gift of imagination.
Right.
Bring it into your heart. Feel it. Pulsate it out always. There's a theme that we use throughout all of our Oughten House work. It's always in service for your highest good, the highest good of others, and the highest good of the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Which means always, as best as possible, constantly, meticulously, forcefully create goodness and beauty in everything you do and see. That's hard. That's hard.
Right.
That is a this is one of the hardest things a human can do, to see good and beauty in everything they do.
Yeah.
Now, remember the 100
Yeah.
monkey thing? Remember that 100 monkey thing that
Mm-hmm.
they did? Well, this book I was telling you,
Mm-hmm.
he proves that the consciousness of your DNA, the consciousness of your DNA, is not just yours. It's your
Mm-hmm.
family, it's your communities, it's your society, it's your nation, it's your civilization. What's inside you is connected to everything else. Biologically, we are all one.
Right.
Spiritually, we're all one.
Right.
Economically, forget it. So the answer here is the economics. The money, the blood of
Right.
society is not the blood of spirituality. And we got to get that to work together.
Right.
And that's where you got to put it. All those
Yes.
people are into greed. America is very greedy and very selfish and very ignorant. When you go to, so I worked in Russia for 8 or 9 years. I traveled every single little town in Russia, met all those people, and they're brilliant but poor as hell, except Moscow. But the rest of the country is like starving, but they're all beautiful people.
Right.
And I find that when I was in Peru, when I was in Germany, there's so many beautiful people, but they don't have a connection to do anything. And that's what's got to be rebuilt. We need a lot of Robin Hoods.
Right. So what I hear you saying is we have to shift our consciousness of competition to competing against ourselves and cooperating with others.
Yeah. Put it.
Does that sum it up?
Yeah. We got to work hard.
Wonderful. We do. We
It's
really
not-
do. Thank you so much.
Any questions?
Go ahead. We don't have any questions. I've been checking the feed, and no questions as of yet. But by all means, I will. Yeah, I think we did get a thank you for sharing this conversation, and they were really happy to hear your opinions. And I am going to put some of your links
Right.
on the promotion for this
Good.
video. And this video, oh, we have well, somebody has a comment. It's Melanie. She says, perhaps it's a lack of faith in ourselves. We've been led to believe that we must be perfect.
Oh yeah, that's a trap.
That's
Perfection.
interesting. Yeah,
Oh God, that's a deadly trap.
yeah,
We strive for perfection in the spirit of life, yes.
yes,
But if you're perfect on earth, you don't belong.
yes,
You've done your job, you graduated earth school,
right.
get the heck out and go somewhere else and do some good stuff. No, perfection is
Absolutely.
Aristotle's first thesis was perfection 3,000 years ago when you study that. Perfection is
Mhm.
we want to be as beautiful and as best as we can, but perfect is a
Right,
psychological problematic thing. Um, but we have to. If you don't have
right.
faith in yourself, I mean, you're in Doomsdayville. We should have an island called Doomsdayville for good people. You have to work hard out there, and you have to get your
Right,
work going. And if you don't, somebody else is going to take it from you. I will send you the link
right.
to our website. We actually have revised it, and we're starting to load it up. I have over 100 articles in there about everything you could think of. But the two articles on the
Wonderful.
USS Titanic, I'll send you the link to that. That's in the website now. We also
Great.
did. Um, I know you got time problem. Yeah. We did a channel from Mother Mary on the immune system. We did a DNA activation on the immune system.
Oh, that's great.
Elk and I
Well, that's
spent
great.
8 days downloading, looking at it, scrutinizing, challenging each other. And when we finished, we publicized 4 parts to it of how to help people. The
Mhm.
problem with this virus and other diseases is our immune system, especially in our society today, has not
Right,
has not been given the power that has been designed for. And what Mother Mary told us
right,
was we got to go and get our immune system pumped up again. And you got to do that through
right.
what we wrote. So I'll give you the link to that. It's in our website. And
That
the article I wrote
that
last
would be great.
Yeah, and the article I wrote last night called "Inspired by the Pandemic," similar to the Titanic thing, but a little bit more dramatic. I'll give you the link to that as soon as we finish
Mhm.
and you can give that to your audience.
Wonderful.
And what Zelka and I are doing is that we feel gifted. We've worked the field. We know what we can deliver. We stand behind everything we do. We got clients who will testify that in a second. But we're not super
Right,
public marketing people. We just because we're semi-retired, and
right,
but
right.
we're putting together a very prolific website specifically about techniques, healing techniques that are proven that are
Oh,
work.
good.
And I constantly and I'm going to come out with my the DNA activation program. We stretched it out to uh,
Mhm.
be compatible to the Course in Miracles. It's a big project, and I'm putting
Okay.
digitalizing that now.
Okay, and so can people have access to that now, or is there a date where it will be released?
Well, we're constantly feeding it. I mean, I can only work so many hours a day, but since we came here, uh,
Right.
so it was in October. We came here for vacation. We ended up stuck here, so we decided to just stay here. But we're loading it
Wow.
up. But there's a lot of things on the website right now that you can get into. Almost everything we do is now an ebook. So at low cost, you can just get what we got. We wrote a beautiful book on peace,
Perfect,
peace. So it's
perfect.
loaded with stuff.
Tell me what that website is right now. What is that website?
It's Oughten, Oughten dash house. Oughten dash house.com.
.com?
Yeah, it's a dot comer.
Okay.
And
So people have that, right now.
yeah, and they could
Yeah, people have that in the comments.
yeah, and that'll and we just constantly are feeding that up right now. We do
Wonderful.
we playing with the grandkids a lot, so you know, we have a certain
Good.
amount of time. But I know I've been hit hard.
Absolutely.
I've been hit hard the last month and a half to start powering up again, if you know what I mean. Uh,
Mhm.
I've been dormant
I
for a while.
do. Absolutely.
I backed out of the whole thing, and now I'm also I don't know. I'm getting so much energy. I'm starting to write prolifically. It doesn't take me more than a second to
Yes.
write an article. I'm editing these books
Yes.
together. As long as my health stays good, I'm happy. But we have to get
Yeah.
together and we have to do something. There are a lot of great affiliates out there. Your organization is great.
Yes.
There's this new GIA program that's come out. There's a lot of good stuff coming out, but we got to really pump it.
There
We got to pump it. I remember
Yeah, absolutely.
when I had my publishing company, I was pumping that thing. Boy, we were growing, and we did some really good books. We did excellent amount of good stuff. So our society needs to get its act together fast because what I wrote in the last article I just did, what inspired me is that if we're going to stay with complacency, then
Mhm.
Mother Earth's going to give us a flood, or I call it deluge,
Right.
because this pandemic is
Right.
this is a warning. That's how I'm seeing. I'm precognitive. I mean, I see things, and
Mhm.
and I get upset sometimes when I see things, and I try to say no. So that motivates me to get back in the business again. But people got to get their act
Right.
together,
And
and Americans need to get their.
absolutely. Not only well, I think everyone needs, I mean, humanity needs, because it's, America, there's a thousand things we could say about America and Americans, especially right now, but I think people in general, it's the human condition is evolving. And while this is definitely a warning of more
Yeah,
to come, I think
yeah,
it's also an opportunity for us to really transform all that is coming to us and become in alignment with it, which
right.
is kind of what it's what you were talking about with the masculine and the feminine being gender neutral.
Hmm.
The entire globe needs to become gender neutral and
Yeah,
really acquiesce to surrender to the integration that we as human beings are having. So
yeah.
it has been such a treasure to speak to you today, Dr. Gerard. Thank you so much.
Uh,
And if people want to go to www.oughtenhouse.com, oughten-house.com. He's got so much, and all the links he's going to send to me, I'm going to post them. And we're really grateful that you guys tune in with us
oh yeah,
every day and every other Wednesday. So thanks again for being with us.
good. I'm available if you ever want some input. I'm here. Anybody. All right. Love you
Good,
all. Health and
good.
peace. All right. Bye.
Absolutely. And this is Tracee Dunblazier with the Cover Chatcast.
Thank you, Tracee.